Hey guys, my name's Crystal Kenny, and I'm in love with creating. All things artistic and imagination involved. I'm an American girl who chased her creative dreams all the way to Paris, France, making a living using photography. This podcast takes you inside the stories of all the artsy folks I've met along the way and gives you that extra push to discover your creative gifts. The desire to create is deeply inside each and every one of us, and I give you the tools and inspiration to find a new way of living a more creative life. This is La Vie Creative, the podcast.
So welcome to the show, Kimberly. It's so great to have you here. I've been a huge fan of you for quite some time. You've always been such a supporter of my work, and I love what you're doing as a jazz singer, living between America and France. I mean, how's it been? How's the journey been? You're living the dream.
I am living the dream. It's wonderful to be here with you. I'm so honored to be on your show. As you know, I'm a huge fan of yours. And gosh, I really feel like I am full of joy. And singing in France has been a dream of mine since I was a young singer, singing just at home in my kitchen or in school choir.
And you watched a movie one time you were mentioning before that like really inspired you. Talk about that.
Yes, I remember seeing the movie Round Midnight with Dexter Gordon, and there was a great scene with N.Y.C, who was also in the Cotton Club movie.
Mm-hmm.
She sang with Dexter in a Parisian cave nightclub, and I thought, oh my goodness, I have to do that. So I've been dreaming of working in France since I was in my early teens, just a regular choral member singing at the talent show at Oscar Mayer Grade School.
Oscar Mayer Grade School. I love that. And you made that dream come true. I got to see you perform a few months ago in a cave cabochette in Paris. I mean, what does it feel like making that dream come true, like standing there on stage?
It's incredible. The city just vibrates with creativity, and to perform in the space there and to sing for the people there, it's just, gosh, it just brings so much joy and happiness to my heart and soul, really.
And I know each night that place is pretty packed. I mean, it's such a fun club. If you haven't been to Cabochette, you should definitely go see Kimberly there in the spring. But yes. I mean, there's just people are packed in literally like a cave in a basement, and you are on stage with your band, and like the energy is just so good. Like, do you feel the energy from the audience?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. It's floor to ceiling people and energy, and they're giving it to you and you're giving it back to them. And the dancing is always so exciting too. That brings a whole different element to, being a creative on stage, sending energy out there and receiving energies. It's really nice.
I love seeing the little swing dancers, the little old men and women swing dancing around the floor.
I know, they're so sweet, they're so cute and quite talented.
Quite talented. But I want to go back to the start of your long line of performers in your family. Talk a little bit about like the history of your family and some of the entertainers that already came before you.
Sure. Let's see. On my mother's side, my grandfather and grandmother were both part of the golden era of entertainment. So I grew up with the music in the house and the big record player council, and just hearing great music. And my grandfather was a dancer at the Chêz Pareé and other nightclubs in Chicago, and my grandmother was a camera girl at the Chêz Pareé. So
is that how
she acquired that? I'm not sure, and I wish that I had asked more questions.
Yeah, sounds fascinating. What a time to go.
I know. Yeah, and my grandmother got the job because she was high school friends with many of the great musicians of the day, but also Sam Giancana, who was a big character here in Chicago. So he got her the job there.
Oh, that's so cool. I mean, usually women, they got to like serve drinks or whatever back then, but she got to be a camera girl, which I feel like was like a very male dominated industry back then.
It was, and it was quite an honor to get that job too. It
Yeah.
was not easy to get that position because you didn't have to sling drinks. You were definitely more of a socialite bopping around, and everybody wanted your pictures. And, it was definitely a great job to have during that time.
So did your family always encourage you to follow your dream of being a jazz singer?
Yes, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. I started singing in choir in seventh grade, and I remember doing the talent show, singing Out Here on My Own from Fame.
Wow.
And, my knees were shaking, and I made it through, and I haven't looked back.
And do
I
your knees
just,
still
that was that took me on my life path.
and do you still get nervous before every show?
Yes, but now it's a confident nervous. It's more of an excitement than nervous.
Hmm.
When I was first starting out as a jazz singer in clubs around 19, it was more of a devastating nervous because you want to be great, and you want to do very well, and getting used to that audience and performer energy, because
Yeah.
it can be quite overwhelming when you're starting out. So now I know how to harness it, and I look forward to every performance
I,
in a with delight.
I can imagine. I mean, do you have any crazy stories? You've been performing in clubs since you were 19. I mean, has anything like crazy happened during those nights that were like completely unexpected or any like fans or talk about some of the stories?
Uh, well, the first night that I sang in a jazz club was monumental. I was actually serving tea, happily serving tea, at the Drake Hotel. I mean, I was in the arts in high school, but college was not an option for me. I had to actually start working right away,
Yeah.
so to support my family and contribute. So unfortunately, I never made it to music school, which was my dream. Um, and jazz, I had always sung in the house, but I never thought I could make a career of it.
Yeah.
So I started working in high school, and then, of course, after high school, full time. So I was working at the Drake Hotel, and there was a pianist that would work there 5 days a week named Corky McClurkin. And he would hear me sing under my breath around the room, those American standards, the American Songbook. So every once in a while, he'd say, "I hear you singing. I hear you singing." So, I got to know him, told him my little story, and there was a club that had just opened up down the street from the Drake Hotel called the Underground Wonder Bar. And he said, "Hey, I'm going to work at this new club. Why don't you come sing a song?"
Wow.
So I said yes.
Oh, it was totally like an
And
accident.
yeah, yeah, it was just one of those moments again that, a chance moment sends you on your life path, the next chapter.
Yeah.
So I tried to think of one song that I knew 100%, and felt confident to sing it in front of strangers. So that song was Loverman, um, covered by Billie Holiday. I grew up listening to a lot of Billie Holiday and Edith Piaf and
Wow.
lots of Linya and Judy Garland. So, but Loverman was the song that I chose. So I get off work at, 10:30 p.m. and I make my way down Walton Street singing the song in my head. And I go in the club, and there was only about 10 people in there at the time because they had really just opened within that year. And I ordered a gin and tonic because that's what they ordered in movies. I wasn't a big drinker. So I ordered gin and tonic, and I'm sitting there, and he calls me up, and I sang my Lover Man, and I remember the room just lighting up in such a way that I thought, oh my gosh, this is incredible. This is what I need to be doing. Um, and then most importantly, back to your question about stories and experiences, there was one lady who was in the crowd sitting up front by herself. And after I ended up singing a second song as well later on, but she came up and talked to me, and she said, I just want to thank you because I'm in town for my mother's funeral.
Oh,
I'm at the hotel feeling kind of down, and I just stumbled upon this club and you singing, and you really took me away from my troubles,
wow.
for those few moments. And that was it for me. I said, "Oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing."
Yeah. It's like a form of healing.
Yes, and music is healing. The arts are healing,
And from
not
that,
only for ourselves but for others.
and you knew from that moment, like, okay, I'm gonna pursue this, I'm gonna keep going. And like, what did that look like? Was it hard to really make income from it in the beginning?
No, because there were so many gigs.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I started working both places. I would do the Drake until 10:30, and then I would head to the Wonder Bar and work till 4 or 5 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I did that for about half a year, and then I quit the Drake and went full time at the Wonder Bar. And then I debuted my trio within a year of landing at the Wonder Bar, and eventually made my way to New York City.
So what was it like moving on to New York? Was that a whole nother ball game, or was it just like a different club, different kind of people?
Um, it wasn't a different ball game, but it was definitely a real special part of the jazz world
Hmm.
being in Manhattan, and hanging out at Smalls. I was there when Smalls first opened,
Wow.
and yeah, now it's of course a very historic club. Um, but I was there all the time. I was the first waitress there. I saw the club owner running around like crazy, doing everything by himself, and I said, "Hey, I would love to help you if you need me to fill those pitchers and clean those ashtrays and fill that salsa. I would do it for you." So I didn't get paid. I just volunteered to do it for him. So I
Wow.
would work at Cleopatra's Needle up in Upper West Side, where I had very good friends in the owners, Tracy McDonough and Mohammed Hussein, who just loved my voice and really took me under their wing and let me live with them. And I worked there. I had a gig. I was one of the lucky ones. I had a really soft landing
Yeah.
in Manhattan. Yeah.
It's
Um,
always like that.
yeah, I was definitely blessed to have, Tracy in my life, and Cleopatra's Needle. So I would do Cleo's and then run down to Smalls. So I was doing
Wow.
basically the same thing in Chicago. But I was around at a very special time. I would say definitely a renaissance of, you know, uh, the jazz lions of that day coming up. We were all in it together, and I see them traveling and around the world and so successful, and it really warms my heart and makes me feel so lucky that I was part of it.
Yeah, what a special time to be there and with such big names. And was there like competition between you guys? There was like a family feeling?
No,
It was all like
family,
together.
family,
Yeah.
family. Yes, brothers and sisters.
Love that. And how has the club scene changed? I mean, do you find it's still like a big scene in America? Is it better in France? How is the jazz scene now?
Gosh, it's always there's always great jazz fans that will help keep it alive.
Yeah.
I think the pandemic was really rough on us. So many places did not reopen, so we're limited to venues here, and
Yeah.
I think all over, really, all over America. Um, so it's a little sad, but like I said, jazz is always alive and well.
Yeah, definitely. And there's always going to be a place for that, and people want to listen, people want to come together and just enjoy something relaxing like that. It's a different experience than going to like a concert. Just the type
Yes,
of music and the type of people and is a whole
definitely. I have a residency here at Winter's Jazz Club in Streeterville, which is the historic part of the lakefront, sort of east of Michigan Avenue. And it's such a beautiful club, and people will come out to hear the music. There's it's alive and well, and Winter's just such a great room too. So I love to create there, and we're we're getting audiences, which is really nice,
and how do
especially
you
after the pandemic.
yeah, I mean, I think we're all like hungry for culture after the pandemic and being locked in our homes.
Definitely, and France is full of that too. I worked so steadily this last time I was there. When I saw you, I from Caveau on through like October 10th, I was so very busy working. And then I was finally able to sort of take a breath after the 10th through, my last weeks there. I was
Yeah.
there about 2.5 months. And I finally was able to hit all the museums and, hang out a little bit more with my best friend Kimmy, who lives there that you know. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it was wonderful to embrace that creative side of Paris, and not be on stage.
And how were you able to make the transition to work in Paris? Was that difficult?
Again, one of those moments where honestly, it was because of Facebook and the algorithms sort of brought me together with musicians in France. And, one musician in particular, Ramona Horvath, a wonderful pianist there,
Hmm.
she heard my music and liked it and wanted to include me on some of her shows. So she invited me, and then, the planets aligned and I was able to get there. And once I sang and expressed myself to the people there, it just sort of started flowing and doors started opening, and I met the wonderful musicians in town there, and other great vocalists, and it just sort of flowed. I think that's when things are meant to be, is when things just flow forward.
Yeah, when things are easy and they just come together, it's like, okay, I'm heading in the right direction.
Exactly. The timing was just right.
And as a singer, there's certain things that you have to do to maintain your voice. Like before a show, you're like, I'm not talking to anybody, or like, do you not waste your singing voice on like just a friend's party? Are there things you do to protect your voice?
Yeah, it varies. I definitely now try to not talk too much before a show.
Definitely,
Yeah,
because like
definitely.
it definitely can affect how your singing goes.
Yes. And I even recently got a vocal mist,
Oh wow.
which, yeah, which is this inhaler basically that has sort of a mouthpiece or a mask. And I did find that working so much on the road and using your voice so much, and I really love to table touch after a gig and on the break. I love to talk to people. I love people and their stories. And I didn't want that to take a toll on my performances in the future,
Yeah.
because I do, yeah. So I thought, well, I really do need to pay attention with my rigorous schedule and my, extra talking. I needed something to sort of help me. And I usually go for coffee, like cafe au lait is my go-to when I'm on stage performing. I've tried everything else, nothing works, only coffee or
Yeah.
warm hot milk,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's hard to get that all the time on the spot. So I needed something, and I got this vocal mist, and I think it's really going to help with the rigorous schedules that I have when I'm on the road creating.
And do you write a lot of your own music? I know you perform a lot of beautiful covers, but do you try to
Thank
work in
you.
your own music as much as possible?
I do. I have written some songs, and being in France this last time without any distractions of my day-to-day life here in Chicago, I'm a wife and mother,
Hmm.
and I have a kitchen business. So I really am busy, from morning till night, and
Yeah.
I don't have enough time for my creativity. I found.
Hmm.
Um, so being in France this last time served two purposes that I realized once I got back here. One was the pandemic cloud was finally lifted off of me creatively. Like, I just felt so squashed, and as positive a person as I am, I just felt that gloom and doom of the pandemic. I just couldn't shake it.
Yeah.
Not in a tangible sort of way, sort of in a substream sort of way. It's sort of hard to describe. I didn't realize how the pandemic had really affected me.
Mhm.
And being in France and having that space to breathe and that time to create, and to feel the energies of the crowds again, really sparked that creativity in me again, and really lifted that dark cloud which was holding me down. So I really felt that it lifted, and also I really found that I had time to start writing and composing again. I was staying in an apartment where there was a keyboard, so I was there a few days and I saw that keyboard. I saw those headphones and I said, you know what? I'm gonna turn that baby on and sit there and just sort of start plunking away again, which I did not make time for here.
Yeah, I mean that's
So yeah, I made time for those things there. And, you know, the juices started flowing and I started thinking of writing again and lyrics were coming to my head. So what I'm doing now is I'm carrying that creative Parisian experience with me back home, and I'm making time for my creativity, even in my busy life. I have my music at the piano, and I sit at the piano every day now
yeah.
because I loved feeling that again. And France really allowed me to experience that again, which I'm so grateful for.
I love that. I mean, it's so good to hear. And walk me through your writing process. Like when you want to write a new song, like how do you find inspiration? What do you like to write about?
I'll hear a catchphrase. I'll hear a word or a phrase, whether I say it or someone else says it, or if I think it, and that will open up a world of a story for me.
It's all
So
about,
that's really, I'm sorry.
is it all about storytelling, like telling a story with your songs?
Yes, definitely.
And while you were in Paris, was there anything specifically that inspired you or an area of the city that really inspired you?
Well, Montmartre is always inspiring. I feel so at home there, especially the museum. I had a really great time at the historic Montmartre Museum and just wanted to live there and work there. I saw they needed help in the coffee shop. I thought, okay, I need to be here every day because I'm feeling this beautiful vibe there. The little corners with the ivy walls, and I just felt so inspired being in that area. Um, so yeah, that was a really special moment. Being in Caveau was really um, inspiring and magical because they have a little tiny room um, out back and up above the club. So you stay in the room for the entire 4 night run, and you can just feel the history being back there and the little space and looking up and seeing all the other little windows and imagining people shaking their blankets and, maybe even yelling down or goods scooting up in baskets, with little pulley systems. And it just was so fantastic to be above the club, living it, and then going down and making music in the club. Do you know what I mean? There was just something very holistic, creatively about that experience.
I had no idea they had a room in the club. That's so cool. So you're like literally living
Yes,
in the club while you're performing.
exactly. And it's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it really gets you in the mood, right?
Yes, yes.
And you don't have to go
Yeah.
very far to like go to bed after a long night of performing.
Nope, nope. It's fantastic. That's one of my favorite gigs ever, really, is the Caveau de la Huchette. I also love 38 Riv. They don't have a room upstairs, but of course I love it. And then I'd say the third sort of magical creative time was is my time when I hang out with my drummer, Patrick Fiul, and my trio really in the Loire Valley. I love Mont Louis Loire. I mean, it is such a beautiful place, and touching history in that area is just, gosh, it's so unique and so inspiring. I love being in the Loire.
It's a beautiful region and it's not so far from Paris. If people listening haven't visited, you should definitely go out there. It's just full of castles and nature. And like you said, it's super inspiring because you kind of reconnect to nature, but also all that culture and history at the same time.
Yes, yes, it has everything. It's just, it's wonderful. And I love hanging out with, Patrick there and the misty mornings and the beautiful sunsets. He started photographing this tree near his house, and it's just incredible the different skies that you will see in the Loire. I mean, he captures them so beautifully. I mean, from lavender to fire, it's just in the same space. You look up at the sky every day and it's just the most beautiful, beautiful thing. And so inspiring.
Yeah.
Really gets those creative juices flowing, you know?
And so when you're with your band, you guys kind of jam together to come up with new songs and new ideas?
Well, because I'm not a full-time resident of Europe yet, um, we do a lot of communicating via Messenger. As far as my song list, like I'll send them a song list. And then Hiroshi Moriyama, my pianist, will immediately get to writing the charts for them.
Wow.
And David Celeste, my bass player, and Patrick Fuel, they'll practice together without me.
Mhm.
And then once I do get there, we make time to get together and sort of vibe and rehearse and whatnot.
Yeah. Oh, that's great that you can kind of, I mean, once again, technology, it's made it so much easier to connect and make
Yes.
a plan.
Yes, yes. David has a home studio, and we recently went in and started recording. We're gonna record, a handful of tunes every time I come.
Nice.
Um, yeah, yeah. He's got a really nice home studio, so they'll meet there and work out some things on their end, and then I come in and we get together and gel on it, and then we'll lay some tracks. So we don't have a lot of time, unfortunately. I mean, I can't wait till I am closer to them
Yeah.
so we can be together more often because they're just a delight, to be around. And again, France, so inspiring. And just so much creativity flowing there that I can't wait to be there more often. Right now I'm there about 5, 6 months out of the year, but
I think
hopefully it
that,
will be longer.
yeah, definitely. You're like slowly working towards that. I think a lot of people do that. They split time. It's just so much easier too, and especially with
Hmm.
family and everything. And what do you hope to
Yeah.
do with your music? Like, what would be like your dream outcome for your music?
Oh boy. I feel like I really like to sing to the older generations.
Hmm.
Um, Whenever I work at, let's say, retirement homes or communities, I feel so moved by them, and I love hearing their stories. So I'd like to tie in some sort of social work where I can go into maybe underserved communities or, lower income senior residences and, give them the gift of music to cheer them up and hear their stories.
Yeah,
Um,
once again, bringing it to more people that may not normally get to a club or, give back
exactly.
through your music.
Yes, it's so healing for them and for me too. And I'd really like to do that in France and in Europe. We're working on getting our citizenship now for Greece. So of course I'd like to do that all over Europe, not just France, but Greece and other countries there. Um, but I do have some projects that I'd really like to see fulfilled in the next couple of years. I'd like to do orchestrations with strings. I do porgy bass, so that of course is a dream to do that with strings. I also want to dive into my Puerto Rican roots and really start singing in Spanish and covering the old, big band singers and sort of nightclub singers from the 20s through 50s of Puerto Rico.
Oh,
My family on that side, my father's side, is also very musical. Everyone plays an instrument and sings, and these are the things I've learned recently. So, yeah, I really would like to definitely get in touch with my Puerto Rican roots and bring that music out into my repertoire. And so I do have some goals for the upcoming years.
yeah, now that you're feeling re-inspired, reignited after this last visit.
Yes, and the pandemic is over.
We hope so.
Yes, yes.
And then you're
Well,
in,
we always have to maintain, but
yeah, exactly.
I can't imagine it's ever going to get to that shutdown period like what we went through already.
Oh gosh, I hope not.
I hope not.
And in your words, how would you define creativity?
Creativity is it's that it's that thing inside that you just really, it really shouldn't even have a name. You know, creativity is just a tag word, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's an energy I think that we're all born with, but I think that some open themselves up to it early on. And it's just an unspoken magic that really represents your special soul, whatever your soul is carrying, the uniqueness of you, just is inside and wants to come out.
I
And
love
it's
that.
that thing that's inside.
Yeah. Oh, that's really beautiful. The uniqueness of you. I like that. That's really beautiful. And
Thanks.
where can people connect with you online, listen to your music, and learn more about you?
Well, the social medias, I think Instagram is my favorite. I really like Instagram because it's more like art and there's a lot less drama. So you can find, you know what I mean? You just get on and like, bam, art,
Yeah.
and then back away. Um, that's Kimberly Gordon Vocals on Instagram. Um, I also have a Facebook page, Kimberly Gordon 75. You can find me there. And I, of course, document all of my travels in France and my gigs and stuff. My fans really love to see what I'm up to, especially those that will never make it to Europe or France,
Mm-hmm.
in particular. So they really appreciate my posts. I'm an amateur photographer, so I also have Kimmy G Photo on Instagram. And then I started making crystal rainbow catchers during the pandemic. And that business has taken off quite a bit. So that is Instagram, Bell Book and Candle 777.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah. And then of course, uh, through my Instagram page, Kimberly Gordon Vocals, you'll see my upcoming dates in France, which are being booked right now. I'll be at 38 Riv on March 22nd. That was my first gig booked since I've been back.
Wow.
And I'll be at Caveau and, Chez Papa, of course, in Paris, and festivals and concerts and things. So yeah, just stay in touch. I'd love to hear from your listeners. I'd be honored.
I love that. Yeah, definitely stay in touch, people. And if you're in Paris in the spring, come see her live. She is amazing. I can speak from experience. Need to hear her voice. And thank you so much for chatting with me today, Kimberly.
Oh my gosh, thank you. It was such a pleasure and an honor, and thank you so very much.
Thanks so much for tuning in to La Vie Creative. You can find more information on MissParisPhoto.com. And if you enjoyed this show, please feel free to share and spread the word for all my creative guests. We have the power to help them to keep doing what they love. See you next time.